Good morning, grade 8 students. Welcome back to our class. Today is the last part what we are discussing in the explanation series of the first lesson, that is the best Christmas present in the world, written by Michael Morphago. Right? Just a recap of all the three series. As usual, the narrator purchased went to a junk shop, purchased a roll-top desk, and he bought in a bad condition there, and he started repairing in the Christmas Eve. And later on, there was a letter inside the drawer, and it is written to Jim Macpherson, to his wife Connie, as written on top. And after reading this letter, Jim Macpherson, and he was the leader of England troop, and then he thought of giving her back. In the meanwhile, the war is going between England and Germans, and Germans were engaged in a war. But on the Christmas morning, a wonderful thing happened. What is it? The Germans wished first Happy Christmas to English soldiers, and the same response was given by English people also. And both the leaders also shared their ideas and the feelings. In the meanwhile, all the soldiers, they enjoyed the time on Christmas Day by eating, laughing, talking and drinking. After that, they played football match, and with Germans won in the night, both troops sang carol, the Silent Night, and had a peaceful Christmas. So here the author decided to give the letter to Jim's wife. So he started to make a move. He decided at that night he didn't get sleep. He was awakened. He went to the address which was written on the letter envelope, which he found that an accidental fire caught in the house and she was in nursing home. That is the information known to him by an old man. Now students, turn up your textbooks to page number 15 and listen me alertly. Right? Now come to the top. I found Burlington House nursing home easily enough. There were paper chains up in the hallway, and a lighted Christmas tree stood in the corner with a lopsided angle on top. Lopsided. What's the meaning of lopsided? With one side bigger or higher, whatever you can say, and the other side not equally balanced, or having marked by bends or angles, not straight or aligned, we can say. That is called lopsided angles on top, it seems. Easily he traced out the address. And how about the hall? With the paper chains up in the hallway and the lighted Christmas tree. Okay. I said I was a friend came to visit Mrs. Macpherson to bring her a happy Christmas present, to make her cheer up, to make her happy. He said that. I was a friend coming from the war place to meet Mrs. Macpherson, it seems. I could see through into the dining room where everyone was wearing a paper hat and singing. What they are doing? They were wearing a paper hat and nicely singing, it seems, enjoying the time. The matron had a hat on too and seemed happy enough to see me. She even offered me a mince pie. What everyone doing there? Wearing a paper hat and singing. The matron had a hat on too. Matron. What is the meaning of matron? A woman in charge of domestic and medical arrangements at a boarding school or other institution. It's called a matron. What he had? A hat, and seemed happy enough to see me. Very much pleased. So glad enough to meet. So she even offered me a mince pie. Students, what do you mean by mince pie? It's nothing but a small round pie or tart containing sweet mince meat, typically eaten at Christmas. Typically it is the thing that we can take with the mince fruit, almost all in New England, Australia. Actually the place of origin of this fruit mince pie is England only, mince meat and all. Okay, so it is a famous thing at the time of Christmas. She walked me along the corridor. Mrs. Macpherson is not in with the others. Is not in with others now. She told me. What she told? Mrs. Macpherson, no one is coming for her, and she is in her own world. She is rather confused today, so we thought it best if she had a good rest. She is in a bewildered situation, means confused, unable to get what to access or what not to access. So here matron is saying so. What she was saying, we thought it best if she had a good rest. She has no family, no one visits. Actually, she doesn't have family, but no one visits. From long back she was staying here. And so I am sure she will be only too pleased to see you. So now itself you came. You said, I want to meet her. From long back she was there in this home after her house got burnt. But she'll be happy that some visitor came to see her. She took me into a conservatory with wicker chairs and potted plants all around and left me. What's the meaning of conservatory? It's nothing but a room with the glass roofs and walls attached to a house at one side and used as a sun lounge for growing delicate plants. It seems. So she took him to that place. The old lady was sitting in a wheelchair. By there, an old lady sitting, her hands folded in her lap. She had silver white hair pinned into a wispy bun. She was gazing out at the garden. Hello, I said. She turned and looked up at me vacantly. Vacantly means without any expression. How she looked? Vacantly. Happy Christmas, Connie, I went on. I found this. I think it's yours. As I was speaking, her eyes never left my face. I opened the tin box and gave it to her. That was the moment her eyes lit up with recognition and her face became suffused with a sudden glow of happiness. I explained about the desk, about how I had found it, but I don't think she was listening. For a while, he went on saying, what he said? Happy Christmas, Connie. I found this. I think it's yours. Means he has an intention to give that envelope. To whom? To 101 years old Mrs. Jim McPherson. Isn't it? He opened the tin box, it seems, and gave it to her. What is that? The letter. That was the moment her eyes lit up with recognition and her face became suffused with a sudden glow of happiness. Her eyes, how they are? A sudden glow of happiness, it seems. And here he explained about the desk where he bought it and where he purchased in the junk shop. Okay, and he explained everything, and he said that when he was explaining, she didn't observe before, but later on immediately he observed that she was not listening. I don't think that she was listening, he says so, because for a while she said nothing. He was saying, Madam, I purchased here in the junk shop, I bought an old this desk and in that letter is there because I thought this letter should reach you, so I came all the way from the war place. Nothing, she said nothing, it seems, but stroked the letter tenderly with her fingertips. Like that, she stroked tenderly with her fingertips. Suddenly she reached out and took my hand. Her eyes were filled with tears. You told me you would come home by Christmas. Dearest, she said, and here you are, the best Christmas present in the world. Come closer, Jim, dear. Sit down. So she mistook the narrator in place of Jim, her husband. And what she was saying, with eyes filled with tears, you told me you would come home by Christmas, dearest. And here you are, the best Christmas present in the world. Come closer, Jim. Sit down. I sat down beside her. The narrator sat down beside her, and she kissed my cheek. I read your letters so often, Jim, every day. I wanted to hear your voice in my head. It always made me feel you were with me. And now you're back. You can read it to me yourself. Would you do that for me, Jim dear? I just want to hear your voice again. I would love that so much. And then perhaps we shall have some tea. I have made you a nice Christmas cake, marzipan, all around. I know how much you love marzipan. So here she was highly excited. Tears are rolling from her eyes. You told me on that day you'll be coming on the Christmas. Definitely, you said. My dearest, you came. Sit down beside me. Now take this later. How many times I read, but now I want to listen your voice. Make me comfort like that. And now you are here, my dear Jim. Please come on and read this letter for me. I just want to hear your voice again. I would love that moment, that voice much. And then perhaps we shall have some tea. I will have made you a nice Christmas cake. What she said, she has prepared a nice Christmas cake, it seems. Why so? Her husband likes it. Jim likes it. But here who came? It's not Jim, but it is Michael, the narrator. That's the end of the story. Thank you today for listening my lesson. Now it's time for once again homework. The work for today is, in the page number 16 we have 2 questions, comprehension check. You have to answer them. Next, again a couple of days back you have completed nouns, verbs and adverbs. Up to which page you have completed? Up to 12th page. Okay now? And now the same task, complete the page number 13, 14, 15 and 16. So from 13 to 16 these pages, once again go through the narration what I have taught just now and find out the nouns separate column and then verbs separate column, and further this adverbs also a separate column. Along with page number 16 comprehension check, only 2 questions are there. That. So in the tomorrow's class I will be ready giving you the notes. You can take your English notes, get ready, neatly covered, and leave a page for index. Maintain the index correctly and get ready to write the notes very neat with a good handwriting. Hope you will be with the same thing. That's all for today. Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye bye.